Hi, I'm Ralph Albert Thomas, CEO and Executive Director of the NJCPA. Welcome to IssuesWatch EXTRA. I'm here with two friends from Capital One, Bill Gascoigne, Senior Vice President of Professional Services Group, and Therese Miletic, Senior Vice President of Escrow Management. Welcome, Bill and Therese.
Thank you.
It's good to have you back. I mean, it's like family here.
We're happy to be back.
Well,
Thank
great.
you for having us.
This is our fourth year doing our survey that we do at the annual convention. And Capital One has been the sponsor of that, and we're going to have some nice discussion today. We wanted to get a sense for the challenges our members are facing, how New Jersey's business climate is impacting them and their clients, and what the accounting landscape will look like for 2017. More than half of our survey respondents this year said that their company's financial performance is better than it was a year ago. Therese, what are some factors that may have played into this?
I think what's interesting in talking to our clients that we learned, accountants have become more valuable to their clients. Clients just don't go to their accountant to file their tax return. They really look to their accountant for insurance, for compliance, for wealth management, succession planning. Accountants have become really smart in their businesses. They've really learned to diversify, that they've made themselves more valuable to their accountants, so they're actually creating even more business for themselves as becoming more of a trusted advisor.
And that's exactly where I was going to go, because we've often referred to CPAs as trusted advisors, and
Yes.
hearing what you just said just really reinforces that fact that they really are. Because most small businesses don't have all the infrastructure that your Fortune 100 and Fortune 500. So there's a tendency to look to externally, and usually one of the first places that they land is at the CPA's doorstep on that regard. Bill, any thoughts from your standpoint?
Yeah, a couple of things. Number one, since the Great Recession, we're probably 5, 6, 7 years into a recovery. And you've heard the saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. You know, when we talk to our accounting firm friends and see their financials, they're doing better. Top line is up, bottom line is up. And to Therese's point, we bank 3 of the big 4. And when you look at the pie and the mix of their revenues, consulting, M&A are becoming a bigger and bigger part of their business. So they're being asked to opine on human resource issues, IT issues, cybersecurity, wealth, asset management, wealth transfer, government contracts. So the ability of the accounting firms to get more entrenched with their clients grows every year.
Half of our respondents said New Jersey's economy is doing about the same as the rest of the nation, but 39% said that it's doing worse than the national economy. Bill, what are the current factors that most impact businesses operating in the Garden State?
I think we covered some of this last year. First, some data points. If you look since the Great Recession, Jersey's economy has grown roughly 0.8%, 0.8%, while the national economy has grown 1.9%. So clearly the national economy is growing quicker. Some of the factors, Jersey is a mature, well-developed state. There are high taxes here because we have good schools and good infrastructure. So on a competitive landscape basis, it's more costly to do business here than other places. We've talked to some of the managing partners of our firms, and when they're looking to do mergers or grow, a lot of it's outside of the state. They're acquiring firms down south where the economics might be a little better. So I think it's high cost, high taxes, good workforce, but it's expensive to do business here.
So would you say that we're broaching into that super premium area where if you, and let me just roll back to the business summit where a tax panel that I moderated, one of the panelists said that individuals are willing to pay a premium, but they're not willing to pay a super premium. So have we moved into that super premium kind of area space that makes it difficult for people for the business environment to really blossom here?
I don't know if it's super premium, but you know, I've lived and worked in this state for 40 years. My parents 40 years before that. And for me, it's been a great place to live and work. I'm willing to pay the taxes that I pay as a result of living in the Garden State. I can't say for sure whether it's super premium, but it's a high tax environment. There's no question.
Okay. Therese, any thoughts, any additional thoughts that you might want to add there that you're seeing from your perspective?
Yeah, I agree with Bill. You know, New Jersey is a very expensive state to operate in and to do business in. I think actually New Jersey could probably do a better job at marketing itself, you know, to attract new businesses and, you know, offer incentive plans. Our friends across the river have been doing that for years in New York. So I think New Jersey really needs to do a much better job at trying to attract business to come to New Jersey and to stay in New Jersey.
Okay. Well, we'll have to see what we can do to facilitate that. The vast majority of CPA members surveyed expect their clients to pay either more or the same in taxes next year. What do you think, Bill? Do you expect your clients will pay more taxes in 2017?
I think there are good and bad reasons why taxes are going up, but we definitely feel that they are going up. On the good side would be the economy's doing relatively well. The companies that we see, that we bank, including many accounting firms, are growing. And with their growth comes higher profits, which leads to higher taxes. We don't see the rates going down. On the flip side, the bad side, and we covered some of this in the question before, Jersey is a very high tax state, high cost state. State income taxes are not going down as far as I can see. Real estate taxes certainly aren't going down. You know, the Transportation Trust Fund is out of money, so we're reading and hearing that gasoline tax is going to be going up.
Right.
We've spoken to you many times, Ralph, about the estate tax situation in Jersey, the death tax. They're pretty regressive, and I'm not sure they're going to change anytime soon. So taxes are going up for good reasons. Companies are doing reasonably well, and you would expect they'd pay more taxes. But we're also in a very high-cost state.
Anything in your crystal ball about our estate and inheritance tax that you may know that we don't know here?
I can tell you, I did some research into it, and there's only 4,000 estate tax returns filed in New Jersey, and it raised about $500 million. On a state budget of $36 billion, it doesn't seem like a lot, but I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. What they may do is index it more in line with the federal, because right now it's 675.
Right.
So it's pretty low.
Very low. I mean, that's the original amount from years ago. So
that's not just rich folks that
no,
could have an estate
well,
worth 675.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's this feeling out there that
Right.
the estate and inheritance tax only affects the wealthy.
No.
And we've been saying that that's not the case, because if you live in like Bergen County and you have a home there and your mortgage is paid off, you probably
The house could be worth 675.
Exactly. And you could just be, you know, a blue collar worker who's just been there for 30 years, 30, 40 years, and have a house that's escalated in price. And I think that's one of the issues, that people don't know all the components that go in to computing the estate tax. They just seem to think it's attributable to the wealthy in our state. Therese, any thoughts from your side?
Yeah, Bill said it earlier. The reality is, if you're paying more tax, while it might not feel good while you're doing it, chances are you're paying higher taxes for a good reason, that your business is doing much better. I think I've said this in past discussions with you. Does anybody ever say, hey, I didn't pay enough tax, I want to pay more?
I don't think so.
So, you know, chances are if you feel you're not paying enough tax, probably your business didn't do as well, maybe as it has done in the past. So, you know, being the optimist, paying more taxes, you know, chances are your business is doing better. So that's a good thing.
Ralph, one postscript
Sure.
on that. We're seeing a lot of people leave the state, a lot of wealthy people and senior people are leaving the state. A lot of them are going down south because they have more favorable tax climates, and many to Florida. And they're going down there not just for the good weather. You know, the taxes are much lower. New Jersey, with the estate and death tax, is not a good state to die in if you can help it.
Yeah, a recent study by one of our partners, the NJCPA, and their outward migration study indicated that people, but interesting enough, they indicated that we're losing a lot of people, not necessarily just to the southern states, but to Pennsylvania and New York. And part of that is one of the reasons Pennsylvania does not tax retirement or pension income. So that's one area that I think affects a lot, not just the higher income thresholds, but also flows down and cascades down to the next levels of taxpayers. So let's go to our fourth question here. When asked what they feel is the biggest challenge facing the accounting industry, an astounding 51% of survey respondents cited a shortage of talent and skills in the workforce. That figure is up from 37% last year. Therese, what are some ways that accounting firms are responding to this talent shortage?
You know, in speaking to our clients, we learned that there's no shortage of kids coming out of college with accounting degrees. So more of the problem seems to be in hiring these college graduates. They're investing a lot of money into these students, trying to get them to pass the exam. But the reality is these millennials that are coming out of college, you know, they're all excited to work and want to be excited about the work they're doing. And, you know, in the beginning, in accounting, you know, there's a lot to learn. And
Yes.
the exam is hard to pass. So, you know, while they're looking for a challenge and to be motivated and exciting work, it's probably not the most glamorous type of work that they're handed in the beginning. So I think a lot of these millennials become, you know, unhappy and really, you know, drop out of the field totally. So in speaking to our clients, they're very challenged with how do we retain this talent? How do we keep them engaged? How do we keep them motivated? How do we keep them excited about, you know, their future? You know, one of the things we always talk about with our clients too is, you know, mentoring, managing expectations, including, you know, these young folks on some of, you know, the more exciting type of work that, you know, some of the more senior accountants are doing.
Now, are you seeing your clients doing that, many of them, or are they just talking about doing it?
There's definitely a lot of talk about it, and we do see a lot of our clients taking those steps to do that. I mean, even internally at Capital One, you know, we have that same challenge. You know, it's attracting that talent, maintaining, keeping that talent, and, you know, wanting these, you know, millennials to stay in banking. So it's not something only, you know, that accountants face. I think it really is all companies across the board.
Anything unique that you guys are doing at Capital One that you would say is cutting edge in terms of trying to keep this talent, keep the millennials in?
We do. We actually offer intern programs, and if interns choose, you know, they can actually apply to be part of our entry-level training program. And in that training program, they actually spend a period of time with different groups within the bank, so they get exposure to all the different opportunities that are within banking. I mean, banking is more than just, you know, a branch or maybe a relationship manager. I mean, there's analysts, there's, you know, credit underwriting, there's, hey, escrow management, there's, you know, treasury management, there's a lot. Banking, and especially now in the digital world that we live in, there's all types of digital types of programs and opportunities that we're developing.
Good, good. Well, maybe hopefully some of our firms will take heed to what you guys are doing and employ that. I think it's critical because we do show that accounting enrollments and graduations are up. So there's that opportunity. But I know back about 10, maybe 15 years ago, we had sort of a shortage of talent coming through the pipeline. So are you seeing that firms are having problems with experienced hires as well?
Yes.
Yeah, the problem, and we spoke to a few managing partners on this, Ralph, and Therese is spot on. The kids coming out of school 1, 2, 3 years, that's not a problem. It's those young people that have 3 to 5 to 7 years experience. They're worth their weight in gold, and companies are doing the mentoring thing. They're trying to make the work more interesting, more challenging. And the accounting profession as a whole, from where I sit, is trying to do a better job touting the accounting profession as a good place for young people to work, to grow, to have a rewarding career and a highly paid career. So.
Okay. Good. Well, hopefully some people will take heed and start doing some of the things that you're doing and what everybody else is doing as well to keep these folks. Let's go to our fifth question here. While there are clearly challenges ahead, 81% of our CPA members anticipate their business growing in the next year, just slightly down from last year's number. Bill, what are the factors that have accounting firms remaining optimistic about their business prospects in New Jersey?
Despite what I said before, we said before about Jersey being an expensive, costly, high-tax state, truth of the matter is it's also a great state to live in and to work in. So I think accounting firms and the people that run them are optimistic because companies are doing reasonably well, and the demand for services, what Therese said earlier. about firms becoming more trusted advisors, doing more consulting. They're helping companies value the business. They're helping companies sell the business. So we don't see the demand for accounting services going down. In fact, it's rising, and I think it'll continue to do so. On the flip side of that, I think Jersey as a state needs to do a better job in terms of attracting business, competing with other states. Therese and I were talking the other day. You know, you don't see any ads on TV anymore for New Jersey in terms of trying to drive business in. And yet, New York State
We see
is
quite
on TV all the time. And, you know, they're touting tax-free zones. They're touting job training, economic development loans, which I know we have our EDA, and it does a good job. But, you know, a lot of firms are moving south, and people are moving south, partly for good weather, but it's also for taxes and for the economic environment. So I wouldn't give Jersey, if I gave it a grade, it would be a B. It wouldn't be an A, but it wouldn't be a C or a D. It's been a pretty good place to grow up in and work in.
Therese, any additional thoughts on this?
I completely agree with Bill. I love New Jersey, and I am forever an optimist. So I think New Jersey's a great state. I do agree with Bill. It needs to do a better job marketing itself, showing what a great place it is. I mean, you know, just a couple miles across the river, you know, they're doing a great job with offering incentives and trying to attract business. And I think New Jersey kind of needs to do the same thing and get on that bandwagon.
Okay. Well, any final thoughts that you'd like to share before we call it a day?
The accounting profession for us is very important. We work with a lot of accounting firms, both on a referral flow basis and also banking them. And having banked this segment for 20 plus years, I can say the future from where I sit as a banker for accounting firms looks very bright.
Therese, any?
Agreed. And I also just want to add, we want to thank you and the CPA Society and its members for giving us the opportunity and allowing us to be a sponsor and be part of your great organization. So thank you.
Well, we want to thank
Thank
you
you,
as well for being a good partner as well for the last, I would be dating ourselves here. But it's been a great relationship, and we certainly appreciate and appreciate your comments here today, enlightening our folks about what you see as a great opportunity here. So thank you for watching this edition of IssuesWatch Extra.